Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at the new Rebor Killer Queen pair. These figures were announced last year in April, so it took about a year for them to finally hit market. They just started shipping out from Everything Dinosaur last week. They retail for about $40. I'll leave a link in the description to Everything Dinosaur if you're interested in ordering these. And I believe shortly Big Bad Toy Store should be getting these in. These Rexes are inspired from Jurassic Park. They come in two versions. The first one is the plain version, which is supposed to resemble the Rex from Jurassic Park 1, and the other one is supposed to resemble the male from the Lost World. Both figures are exactly the same mold, but because of the vastly different paint schemes used on them, they feel like two totally different figures. So before we take a closer look at the figures, let's take a quick look at the box that they came in. Both boxes are exactly alike except for one says plain and one says jungle version. You get a nice silhouette of the Rex on the front of the box, and on the back you get nice pictures of some of Rebor's other products. Now if you watched my unboxing video, let me refocus. If you watch my unboxing video, there is some assembly with these figures. The tails do come unattached. You just gotta push it in very easily. The jungle version of mine was like really tight to push in, but that's it. That's all there is for assembly. So let's start out taking a look at the plain version, which is Rexy from JP1. Let me move the bowl off to the side and get her front and center. And right off the bat, that is a very good representation of the JP1 Rex. Now, let's take out the tape measure and see how big this figure is. It is just over 16 inches long, so it is a good size figure. They say they're 135 scale, but with that measurement, it puts it roughly in the 130 scale range. Now, if you watch Jurassic Park, the color scheme of Rexy changes with the lighting depending on what scene she's in. So this matches very closely to when we actually get to finally see her in daylight when she attacks the Gallimimus herd. She is mostly brown in color. The underside is a light cream color, and you have some nice black striping along her whole body and some black blotches along the legs and her sides and her arms. And I compared this last night to a couple stills from JP1 when she attacked the Gallimimus herd, and this matches very, very closely. So this is a very accurately painted JP1 Rex. This figure does have some articulation. The jaw is articulated, and you get a nice view of that very detailed mouth. A lot of gloss in there to give it that wet look. And one thing I like that Rebor has been doing lately is that they're not painting their teeth anymore. They're actually like a translucent white plastic, which really gives the teeth a very lifelike look. So you don't have to worry about, you know, these teeth being painted and the white paint bleeding over onto the gums, which happens with a lot of figures from different companies. So that is a very nice thing that they're doing. And the inside of that mouth is absolutely gorgeous. A lot of detail in there, even along the gums. Just absolutely fantastic looking. Now the arms are on a joint, and they can just rotate forward, so you can change the pose of your Rexy. And I showed you earlier that the tail does clip in, is actually a bendable wire tail, and you can bend it pretty much any way you want to change the pose around. Now on Rexy, I didn't notice it on the Bull Rex. Right at the tip of the tail of mine right here, I feel like the wire was molded very close to one side. I feel like if the wire doesn't go right here, it ends right where my thumb is. I feel like if I push it too much, the wire is going to pop out, so I will be being Very careful like that. Like I said, it's not like that on the Bull Rex. So let's pull Rexy a little closer and take a look at that gorgeous JP style head. You can see, you know, we're not going to talk about scientific accuracy since these are based off the Jurassic Park dinosaurs. There's no need to. So the in-orbital fenestra is outlined in the orbit as it was in the movie. You got that nice dark patch around the eye. Rebor likes using gold to paint their dinosaur eyes, and these are no different. And these actually look really good because the eyes were yellow in the movies. And turn her forward and have her look at the camera. You get that nice T-Rex death stare with that binocular vision. Very, very well done. This is an excellent, excellent JP style Rex head. You know, lots of nice skin fold. This whole model is beautifully, beautifully painted. Like, I absolutely love the mouth and the teeth. They just look absolutely fantastic. You know, the feet, even the underside of the feet, are very, very well detailed. Different shades of brown and black along the feet. The claws are painted black on the hands and toes. You got different size scales along the stomach. You know, the seam for the tail blends in pretty well. I mean, if you push it in, you can't really notice it. It's a lot less noticeable when I get to the Bull Rex. I notice the seam a lot less, but it is not a big deal to me. It's just a absolutely gorgeous looking Rex. So let's move on to the green Bull Rex. And here is the jungle version, which is the Bull Rex from the Lost World. And as you can see, painted totally different than the plain version. You know, both these figures are the same mold. Like I said earlier, it's like getting two totally different figures because of the vastly different color schemes. But right off the bat, when I took this one out, my eye kept going to this little brown spot on the corner of the jaws right here. And it was like very, very distracting to me. I just like, oh, that just doesn't look right. So I went back and I looked at some stills of the animatronics from the Lost World, and yep, that is screen accurate. So, excuse me. So very good on Rebor for doing their homework to really match up the paint scheme. I actually never noticed that on the in the movies at all until I took a closer look. This figure is painted in various shades of green with some black striping along the back to really match it up to its on-screen version in the Lost World. And I really like green on Rex. Look very nice. So I mean, essentially this is the same figure as the one I was just talking about. You got the articulated jaw. You got those nicely detailed teeth and gorgeous wet-looking mouth. It's got the gold painted eye with the black pupil. The underside is a white color. A lot of nice detail, even along the bottom of the jaw. The arms are articulated. And I know on a video from Everything Dinosaur, I guess some of these arm joints were very, very tight. The packaging, so if you have problems moving them, just use a hairdryer to heat up the plastic and they should be able to freely move after you do that. Claws on the feet are painted black with like a little bit of a brown at the base of the claw. Very nice looking. Lots of molded detail on both these figures. Lots of wrinkles in the skin. The texture just feels great. Like these are hefty figures. They feel absolutely great in hand. You got nice green, light green blotches going along the back. Give that nice striping effect. Like I said, the tail on this one too has a bendy wire in it. Lots of sculpted detail. Skin wrinkles even along the side of the neck. Just both figures are absolutely gorgeous, JP style Rexes. So now we're gonna move on to my favorite part of the video, comparisons, and I have a lot of them. So let's get those out and move on to that. All right, first up is Winston, one of Rebor's JP style Raptors. Now, obviously, these don't scale together. The Raptor series is in a totally different scale to the Rexes. But I do remember a while ago they teased a picture of a smaller scale Velociraptor jumping. I think it was on their King Rex, like hanging from the neck. So hopefully one day they will release some of these Raptors in a smaller scale to scale with these Rex, which would be really, really cool. And here's another Raptor from their Raptor series. This is Rose. And like I said, like they started using the clear plastic, the translucent plastic for the teeth, which looks great on their figures. And let me focus. Next up is Warpig, their Ankylosaurus. So this is one of their first figures that actually started using a bendable tail, and I think it's much better executed on the Rexes. The seam isn't as noticeable as is on this figure, but still, I definitely dig the bendable tails. And next is, get this set up first. It's their King Rex with the Fallen Queen. And you can see how they stack up together. So both of these are really good size figures, so it's really kind of tough to get them in the shot together. And like I said, this is one of their older figures. The teeth are painted on these. It's still painted very well, but I definitely like the plastic teeth look better. And I will probably be using my Fallen Queen in a little diorama with both the Rebor Rexes, because I think it's just going to look really, really cool. So let's get that off to the side. And we'll do one more Rebor. Here it is with their Tyrannosaurus. And let's move on to some other T-Rexes from other companies. Let's see. Here is the Papo running green T-Rex, which, they're pretty much in similar poses, but I will say the Rebor Rexes balance perfectly. You don't have to really worry about these figures falling over. This one's always been hit or miss with me. I've had to do the hot and cold method to keep this guy from falling off my shelf. And here is the classic Papo green stand-in Rex, which is still a very iconic figure. And here is because why not, the Mattel Bite and Fight Rex. Mattel, these are toys meant for kids and everything, but you can see, how much bigger Mattel makes the heads on their Rexes, and it's much, much more proportionate on the Rebor model. And next up, get him out of the way. Bring the jungle version in. Here's the Mattel Green Rex. And let's get some accurate looking Rexes out here, because why not? We're just comparing T-Rexes right now. Here is the Collecte Feather T-Rex with that long tail. is the Safari Ltd. Feathered Rex. And one more comparison. Got so much stuff out over here. Right, let's get this guy out of the way. And here is an old figure that some people might not know about. This is the old Tyrannosaurus Carnage collection T-Rex. I mean, these figures used to come with bases to hold them up and everything. They can't stand on their own. But it's a nice little, like, precursor to, like, what Rebor did. Yeah, you get the articulated jaw. These have more articulation than the Rebor does, but tail's bendy and everything. So this is, I think this came out in '97. This came out right around the time the Lost World hit theaters. So definitely to see how far we have come in the dinosaur collecting game. So final thoughts on these figures. If you're into Jurassic Park and you like collecting JP merchandise, these figures are absolutely fantastic. They're highly detailed, screen accurate, they're big, they're very well made, and they're not that expensive. I feel like these are like the happy medium between Mattel and some of the higher end stuff from like Chronicle Collectibles and Iron Studios. I mean, these figures retail for about $40. They're not too much more expensive than like some of the Papo stuff, so they're a great value for what you get for the paint quality and the material you use. You know, the bendy tails, a plus and everything. Some people aren't a fan of that. I actually like it. You know, gives a little variety to your displays. And someone on Instagram asked me, you know, if I had to pick one, which one would it be? So after careful thought, if I only could have one of these Rexes, it would definitely be the plain version, the one styled after Rexy. It's just such an excuse me, iconic looking T-Rex, and I just love the paint scheme on it. It matches the on-screen version absolutely perfectly. So yep, that would be my pick if I had to pick one. So like I said, these are available from Everything Dinosaur for about $40. I'll leave a link in the description. And Big Bad Toy Store, if you pre-order those already, should be getting theirs in relatively shortly. And let me know in the comments, do you guys excited for these? Are you picking them up? Do you already have them? Let me know what you think about them. And as always, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.